So I am thrilled today to bring you LeeAnn Marie Webster. And she's got the signature talk that we're going to be talking about, but she is the co-author of the book Midlife Without the Crisis. And she's on a mission to help you do just that. She was her first national TV appearance on MTV's Remote Control, which we're all curious about this, LeeAnn. Has been featured in a wide range of media, including NBC, the Los Angeles Times, UPN Network, the Columbus Dispatch, and the world famous KROQ. She is also a recovering attorney and Ironman triathlete who recently summited Africa's Mount Kilimanjaro. Oh my gosh. She lives in Chicago, and which is, another reason that we're fast friends, where she can be found wandering the aisles of Trader Joe's looking for the next snack. Please welcome LeeAnn Marie Webster today. I'm so excited to have her here.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm super excited to be here. My West Coasters know what KROQ is. I love that. Anytime in the Midwest, they just look at me like, what?
So
Good
good,
to
so good.
know. Um, I always like to start by just pondering the question if you ever feel like you're living the same day over and over. And we just literally had Groundhog Day, but sometimes our lives can feel like that, right? We get up, we, do our work, we come home, have a little dinner, watch a little Netflix, go to bed. Get up, go do our work, come home, have a little dinner, watch a little Netflix, go to bed. Get up, go to work, come home, have a little dinner, watch a little Netflix. And it's like we're smart, and we know there's something out there that we're reaching for and striving for. Sometimes we're just not sure how to connect with it. And we want to feel more naturally connected to what we're doing. Does anybody ever feel like that? I can see your hand. Yes, I can see your nod. Okay, good. We're all mature women, and I know navigating your next career phase and is unique, and it's exciting and sometimes daunting, and especially navigating the workforce with the wisdom that we have and the life experience that we have can be can be daunting, but we also can have a lot of courage for the future and for what we're doing. So I'm 56. I have been a lawyer. I've been a marketing executive. I'm an entrepreneur. My career path has been a wild, crazy ride, and I'm happy to answer questions about that. If you want to delve into that. I did a talk one time for I was the career day opening keynote for high school students. First of all, not an audience I recommend doing a lot of speaking in front of, because that will shake your confidence. but but it landed. But it was kind of like my crazy career path, which I was like, wow, I hope they don't think I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. But my message to them was like, hey, like, it's a crazy career path, like, just roll with it. So they seem to get that. So it's twists and turns, but I can make it work. Um, so I haven't walked in your exact shoes yet. I do know that, at this phase of life, right, it can be both exhilarating opportunities and also vulnerable leaps of faith. So I feel you. I always like to share my why I do what I do, to give context for my work. And this super, super, super short story is that when I was 4 years old, my brother Daniel, who was 12 years old at the time, was killed in a car accident. And that day that he died, seemed like any other Saturday, and no one knew that it was going to be his last day in this realm. And I believe that that means those of us who are here, who have been granted another day, that we have an opportunity, dare I even say a responsibility, to do everything we can to live our lives to the fullest. And he's why I do what I do, because I'm really dedicated to honoring his memory by helping others live fully with no regrets and with no limit. Unfortunately, a lot of people wait for a crisis, right? Something happens, they get a diagnosis, they get fired, there's a big life change, there's a hurricane, there's a whatever. And that's when they kind of pop into action and say, I'm going to do what's important. And my real message today is to remind you that you don't need to wait for that wildness to happen. You can start today. You have the power today to start making changes to create what you want to create in life. So I always frame this around regret. I am fascinated by the concept of regret, because I think no matter who you are, no matter where you were raised, no matter your culture, your age, your politics, your religion, your whatever, everybody's got a regret in some form, in some way. There's a World Regret Survey. There's a World Regret Survey. I don't know. Created by Daniel Pink, who's the New York Times bestselling author of The Power of Regret. And he found that people overwhelmingly regret things they didn't do rather than things they did do by more than 3 to 1. He calls those regrets of omission. So in other words, I wish I would have taken the trip, done the thing, done X, Y, Z. And I have found that in my own research, which I'm going to show you in just a hot second. The most common regret, though, is people regret living someone else's life rather than being true to themselves. And I know that happens to us a lot, especially as women, right? We kind of take on a role. I'm a mother, I'm a wife, I'm a sister, I'm a XYZ. And we often put all those roles and all those things ahead of ourselves and ahead of what showing up as who we really are and who we really want to be. We kind of put those filters on before we check in with ourselves. Now, usually regrets are framed around deathbed, right? We hear that all the time. On your deathbed, will you regret doing this, not doing that? And I don't really care about your deathbed because by then it's too late and you can't do anything about it. What I care about is what I call your daily bed. Every day, lay your head down on that pillow. You think about the day, you think about how it unfolded. Can you say you lived that day with no regrets? Did you say what you wanted to say? Did you do what you wanted to do? Did you say I love you to those you wanted to say I love you to? Because if you didn't, hopefully, ideally, you're going to get another chance tomorrow. So regrets, by the way, are not bad. I know I say no regrets. That doesn't mean that I think regrets are bad. I think regrets are actually really good because they show us what we value. You wouldn't regret something if you didn't value what that was about. And so I think there's a lot of nuggets in regrets where we can learn and we can use them to fuel our future. The challenge of regret comes, the heaviness, the bad part of them is if we don't recognize them or do something to release them, then we hold on to them and they weigh us down. And that can cause anxiety and guilt and cause you to feel stuck. It can cause you to not take action. You know, we've all had that scenario, right? Where we spoke up or we said something and then we wish we wouldn't have. And then sometimes that makes us the next time not speak up or not say the thing. So that's when regrets can become negative, or I would even say dangerous, is when they start holding us back, weighing us down like that. So that's why I created my regret release method. And we're actually going to walk through it because I like to start by kind of wiping the slate clean and, you know, getting a fresh start, just getting rid of anything that's in there, man. And I know you West Coasters, bless you, you're like, wow, 6:15 and I'm talking about regret. Like, it's cool, man. I think a little sip, sorry. So when we go through this, I just want you to keep in mind regrets, they can be big. And oftentimes we think about the big things, right? Getting married, getting divorced, having children, not having children, moving across countries, quitting my job, you know, X, Y, Z. But regrets also can be what I call micro things. You know, I wish I would have spoken up, raised my hand in the meeting. I wish I would have hugged my child one more time or told my partner that I love them or, you know, phrased that conversation a little differently or gone back and said that thing that I really wanted to say. So they can be big, they can be little. Now, I do this with my audiences all the time. And when I'm live and in person, I have these postcards that I have people fill out that have, and they've put an anonymous regret on here. This is what I'm creating my upcoming book, a whole book on these. I've collected over 1,000 of these now. And so I just want to read to you a couple that I've collected to perhaps inspire you for what could be released today. I regret not going to Hawaii when I had the chance at age 20. I've yet to go and I'm almost 50. I regret not asking my dad to go in on a mission trip the weekend he was killed in a tractor accident. I've seen things of that nature a lot. This one has a few. I like when people give me a few, like get it all out of there. Not taking more pictures of my son, not eating the last slice of cake. I feel you, sister. Every yes my mouth gave, but my heart said no. And that's in here just so you can see the writing. So, you know, if you don't have, if you're like, okay, great, but nothing's coming into mind, or, every time I do this exercise, somebody says, man, I don't have any regrets. I believe everything happens for a reason and I don't regret anything. And I get it. I used to say the exact same thing. And I do believe that everything happens for a reason. And I do believe everything has a way of working out. And life is happening for me and not to me. And I also believe, if you think about it, there's a regret in there somewhere. So if regret feels too heavy of a word, you could think about this as, what would I do differently? Is there something action I wish I could, not even undo, but something I would do differently. One of my regrets that came up as I've been doing this, they're popping up for me as I'm doing this work. Before I was like, I don't have any. But one that came up for me recently was not having a deeper relationship with my grandmother. My grandmother Keller was this wonderful woman that had a huge impact on my life. And she passed when I was around 30. And I wish I would have gotten to know her like as an adult woman. I wish I would have looked past all the funny little family tales and talked to her about who she was, what she wanted, why she, chose the life that she chose. But I never took that chance. So, all right. So here's how this works. We're gonna do this virtually. I'm gonna put a link in the chat and you'll see there'll be an image that pops up and there'll be space for you to write in your regret and then also enter your gender and your age. This is anonymous. Do not put any identifying information in. Just do it and then hit submit and know that I'm not going to like share these with Natalie. Like I'm the only person that will see these. And you don't need to share them with anyone. I'm not going to ask you to put it in the chat or anything like that. It's totally private. And you can always hit refresh, by the way, and you can do this at any time. It's always up and ready. And you can also just hit refresh and do more than one if you want. I mean, hey, no one's going to know. So I put the thing in there. So just take a moment. And this is like how I understand what people actually regret in the audiences that I speak to. So I can just understand where people are at. So I'm going to go quiet and then take a moment and just maybe do a thumbs up when you're ready for the next step. All right, we ready to move on? Cool. And like I said, that thing is up 24/7. So it's something, because sometimes after you hear me talk, some things might stir up. So just go on over there anytime you want. I'll never know who it is. Now the key, now that we've put it out there, is to actually let it go and leave it behind and be done with it. Now there might be some forgiving that you have to do of yourself or perhaps of another person, or there might be conversations that you now feel you need to have. And my suggestion to you, strong suggestion, is that you take the next step of action on whatever that is today. Don't let it linger. So if there's someone you need to have a conversation with, text them or email them today. Can we talk? You don't have to talk to them today, but over the weekend, next week, whatever, but take the action. One of my clients heard me speak and we walked through this exercise and she realized that she had been holding on to a regret related to her nephew. And the short story is she had been very tight with her nephew and then they had gotten in an argument over the woman he was marrying and heated and within probably a week of them having that argument. So they hadn't reconciled. And a week having that argument, he was killed in, I think it was like a tractor accident, but it was something unexpected. And she had been for years carrying this guilt because their last conversation was an argument, and they never had that opportunity to reconcile. And so on the way home from the conference where she saw me speak, she called her sister, his mother, talked to her about it, and the sister forgave her, said he knew you loved him. Like they had a whole conversation around it, and this weight just lifted off of her heart, both for her nephew, but also because it started a whole different trajectory for the relationship with her sister. And it opened up energy for her to, she's now president of her bank, the first female president ever of her bank. That it opened up all this energy for her to be able to like drop that and step into this powerful new position that she was moving into. So um, if you need support on how to do that or how to have, I'm actually really good at awkward conversations. It's a weird skill to have, but maybe I've just had a lot of them. I don't know. But I'm happy to, we'll put in there how you can connect with me later if you want to have a conversation about this or about anything, but just let today be the last time that kind of like weighs on you. Know that I hold these, anything that gets submitted virtually in person is sacred. Natalie and I were talking about this. She was like, what do you do with that? Are those heavy? Like, are they? I sage them like a good California girl. I got my sage out, and I have a little ritual of when they come in. I read all of them. I hold them very sacred, and I let the world kind of release them. So it's safe with me. All right, that's really it. I'll be around the rest of the time. I'm happy to answer questions, happy to discuss more. I just want to remind you that as a mature woman, in the process of a transformation, you have tremendous influence over everyone around you, but it's more importantly over yourself. You have the power to let your past fuel your future, and we all have an opportunity that Danny didn't. We're here today, now. So let's take full advantage of that opportunity. And my hope for you is from this day forward, every night, you lay your head down on the bed in your daily bed that you can say you lived that day with no regret. Thank you, Natalie.
So good, so powerful. And LeeAnn, I know you also have, and I'll share in the chat, you also have this framework, the three, like that framework, the steps. I
Yes.
don't know if you want to just briefly touch on it, and I'll put it in the chat for people to be able to download, sign up and download with you. But do you want to,
Yeah.
like, how you kind of come to that? Do you want to share
Sure.
a second of that, and then we'll go to questions?
Yeah.
Just
It's my no regrets formula. So
yeah.
it's basically a framework of how to live with no regrets, kind of how to apply this idea. They're all C's. It's commit, connect, create, conduct, credo, and crew. And so what I have found, I've coached and trained thousands of people towards meeting their goals, and I found that these are the frameworks or the items that need to be in place in order to just step powerfully into that next version of yourself. So, and there's free video series. I think I actually have.
Yeah, I was looking for my links. I
There
had
you
it
go.
all set up and then I'm like looking
That's
for
all
my
right. I
links
threw it
for
in the
you.
chat for you.
Okay, great. Yeah. That's great. Yeah.
And that's a free video series that walks you through all of it, and just gives you some tips and tools for how to apply each part of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Just, I'm going to add it. You put it in there. Perfect. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to stop so that we can have our conversation, but thank you so much for sharing this and sharing those authentic stories. And I'm really sorry for your loss of your brother at such a young age. That's so hard. So thank you for sharing that with our group.
Of
And
course.
this is our safe space. So I'm glad that you shared that with all of us, and the people that will watch the replay, I'm sure will be equally touched. So
Yeah,
thank you,
that's so fun.
LeeAnn. And I'm going to stop recording so we can have our conversation.
Okay.